The train stopped in the middle of nowhere just after 2:17 in the afternoon. Daniel Mercer noticed the time because he had been staring at it for almost 10 minutes, watching the numbers on his phone change, while 3 unread emails sat on the screen like tiny accusations. One was from his client in Chicago, one was from his assistant, one was from his ex-wife. He didn't open any of them. At 42, Daniel had become very good at ignoring things that made him feel human. He ran a successful advertising firm in Manhattan. He knew how to sell happiness in 30 seconds. He knew how to make strangers believe a car could save a marriage, a watch could buy confidence, and a bottle of soda could bring back summer. But he could not remember the last time he had actually felt happy. The conductor came over the speaker and apologized for the delay. A signal failure up ahead. Maybe 2 hours. Maybe 3. Daniel leaned back, closed his laptop, and looked out the window. That was when he saw the water tower. It stood beyond a line of maple trees, pale blue against the hot afternoon sky. The paint was faded, but the name was still readable. Willow Creek. Daniel sat up slowly. He had not heard that name in years. Willow Creek, Pennsylvania. Population, if memory served, just under 4,000. A movie theater with 1 screen. A diner that smelled like coffee and fryer oil. A baseball field behind the elementary school. A creek where kids caught minnows in paper cups and swore they had seen snakes as long as their arms. Daniel had grown up there, and he had spent most of his adult life making sure he never went back. He told himself he only wanted to stretch his legs. That was all. A quick walk into town, maybe a coffee, then back before the train moved. But the closer he got to Main Street, the stranger the air became. Not colder, not warmer, older. The first thing he noticed was the gas station. It shouldn't have been there. Daniel remembered it being torn down sometime in the early 2000s and replaced with a pharmacy. But there it was. 2 red pumps, a bell hose across the driveway, and a hand-painted sign advertising gas at prices that made no sense at all. Then he saw the movie theater. The marquee read, "Back to the Future, now playing." Daniel stopped walking. A laugh came out of him, sharp and nervous. Some kind of retro festival, he thought. That had to be it. Small towns did that now. They repainted signs, dressed up storefronts, sold nostalgia to tourists who wanted to pretend life had once been simpler. But the people weren't dressed for a festival. They were just dressed wrong. High-waisted jeans, big hair, white sneakers. A kid on a BMX bike with a baseball card clipped to the spokes. A woman feeding coins into a payphone outside the diner. Then Daniel saw the newspaper box. He walked over and looked through the glass. The date on the front page was July 18th, 1986. For a moment, he forgot how to breathe. And then, from somewhere down the block, he heard a boy laughing. Daniel turned. Across the street, in front of an old photo booth beside the arcade, stood a 12-year-old kid in a faded Phillies t-shirt. Skinny arms, sunburned nose, dark hair that refused to lie flat no matter how much someone had tried to comb it. The boy was holding a cheap disposable camera. Daniel knew that camera. He knew the cracked plastic corner. He knew the sticker half peeled from the back. He knew the way the boy held it with both hands, like it was something precious. Because the boy was him, not someone who looked like him, not a memory. Him. Daniel crossed the street before he had decided to move. The boy looked up. "Can I help you?" he asked. Daniel opened his mouth, but nothing came out. There were 1,000 things he wanted to say. Don't spend so much time trying to leave this place. Call your mother more. Don't let work become a personality. Don't marry someone just because she makes you look successful. Don't confuse being admired with being loved. But the only words Daniel managed were, "Is there film in that camera?" The boy frowned and pulled it closer to his chest. Why? Daniel remembered that day, not clearly at first. Then, all at once. The summer of 1986. The camera. The abandoned print shop behind the arcade. He had gone inside after dinner because he wanted to take pictures of the old machines. He wasn't supposed to be there. The floor had been wet from a leaking pipe. There had been broken glass near the back door. He had slipped. His knee had been cut open badly enough to need stitches. Daniel still had the scar, a white crescent just below his left kneecap. It was the first scar he remembered getting, the first permanent mark, the first proof that childhood was not as safe as he had believed. And now, standing in front of the boy he used to be, Daniel understood something impossible. He could stop it. "Listen to me," Daniel said. "Tonight, don't go behind the arcade." The boy stared at him. "What?" "Just don't. Whatever you're planning to do, don't do it." "How do you know what I'm planning?" Daniel stepped closer. "I know because I know you." The boy took one step back. Daniel realized too late how he must look. A strange man in an expensive suit, sweating in the middle of the sidewalk, talking like a lunatic. "I'm trying to help you," Daniel said. That was the wrong thing to say. The boy turned and ran. Daniel ran after him. He didn't mean to scare him. He didn't mean for any of it to happen. He only wanted to catch up, explain somehow, make him understand. But children do not stop running because frightened adults ask them to. The boy cut across the alley beside the arcade. Daniel followed, shouting for him to wait. The boy looked back, just for 1 second. He didn't see the loose metal sign leaning against the wall. His foot caught the edge. He fell hard. There was a crash. Glass. Then a scream. Daniel froze. The boy was on the ground beside a broken display case. His camera had skidded across the pavement. Blood ran down his left knee, the same place. Daniel felt the world tilt. "No," he thought. "No, no, no." The boy looked up at him with wet, terrified eyes, and Daniel finally understood. He had not come back to prevent the scar. He had come back to cause it. A door opened behind him. An old man stepped out of the photo shop. Daniel didn't recognize him at first. He wore a gray vest, thick glasses, and the tired expression of someone who had seen the same mistake made many times. Without a word, the old man knelt beside the boy and wrapped a clean towel around his knee. "You should go," the old man said. Daniel shook his head. "I can fix this." The old man looked at him. "No," he said gently. "That's what brought you here." The boy was crying now, but quieter. Someone called for help from the street. Daniel stood uselessly in the alley, surrounded by sunlight and old brick and the smell of warm dust. "I only wanted to warn him," Daniel whispered. "I know. I wanted him to stay happy." The old man tied the towel carefully. "Children aren't happy because nothing bad has happened yet," he said. "They're happy because they don't know how much time they'll spend trying to get back." Daniel looked toward the mouth of the alley. Main Street shimmered in the heat. The diner, the theater, the bikes, the summer he had spent 30 years missing. "It feels so real," Daniel said. "It was real," the old man replied. "That's the trouble." Daniel turned back. "Who are you?" The old man stood and pulled something from his pocket. It was a strip of photo booth pictures, 4 black and white frames. In the first, Daniel stood alone in the booth, though he had never gone inside. In the second, the boy appeared behind him. In the third, both of them were blurred, as if moving in different directions at the same time. In the fourth, the booth was empty. "Past places don't stay empty," the old man said. "They fill themselves with whatever we bring. Regret, grief, old wishes, but they were never built for us to live in twice." Daniel looked down at his own knee. The scar beneath his suit pants seemed to burn. "So what am I supposed to do?" The old man handed him the photo strip. "Go home." "I don't have one." "Then build one in the only time that belongs to you." A train horn sounded in the distance. Daniel blinked. The alley vanished. He was standing beside the tracks in the present day, the afternoon colder than it had been a moment before. The old gas station was gone. The theater was boarded up. The arcade was now a dentist's office with tinted windows. His phone buzzed in his hand. The train was preparing to leave. Daniel limped back toward it. He had always limped a little when he was tired. He used to hate that. It made him feel damaged, marked, like the past had claimed a piece of him and never given it back. But now, climbing the steps into the train, he touched his knee and felt something different. Not forgiveness exactly. Something quieter. Recognition. He sat by the window as the train began to move. The town slid past slowly. The empty lot where the diner had been, the cracked sidewalk, the water tower fading behind trees. And just before the tracks curved away, Daniel saw the boy. He stood near the old platform, one knee bandaged, the disposable camera hanging from his wrist. He didn't wave. He only watched. Daniel raised his hand anyway. For a second, the boy's face softened. Then the town slipped out of sight. Daniel sat back and opened the email from his ex-wife. It was short. Their daughter had a school concert next Friday. She knew he was busy, but his daughter had asked if he might come. For a long time, Daniel just stared at the message. Then he typed 2 words. "I'll be there." Outside, the late afternoon sun flashed against the window, and for one brief moment, Daniel saw 2 faces reflected in the glass. The man he had become, and the boy he could never save. The boy faded first, but this time, Daniel did not look away.